Okay, so that's fine. Let's go back. So let's lock the rear, lock the front, do the same thing. It should go up here just fine. Look at the difference. The crazy onslaught of all of these new Chinese EVs is not ending. And this one is a special Chinese EV. It's a plug-in hybrid that is a mega off-roader. This thing here is the Denza B5. It is designed to compete with the new GWM Tank 500 PHEV, except I think it could be even better than that. Today I'm taking you for a full review of this thing here in Australia. We're at Lang Lang, so we can test it out in the exact same place. I literally just tested last week the GWM Tank 500. I'm going to show you the exterior, the interior. We're going to off-road it. We're going to proper off-road and see just how good it is, because this thing gets things like a mechanical locking front and rear electric motor. There is no physical connection between the wheels, yet this thing is insane. It could even be better than a Tank 500 off-road. So we're also going to launch it. We're going to drive it. We're going to see just how good this thing is, and I reckon it's going to be pretty good. Let's get into it. So what will a Denza B5 cost you? Well, we don't actually know, but pricing estimates are between $70,000 to $90,000 at the top end for the new B5. Comes in two trims. There's the B5 and this one here, the B5 Leopard. This is definitely going to be the volume seller, but as you'll find out, this 3-ton family off-road SUV is actually more capable than you think. And I'll show you why, but let's talk about the way that it looks. Now, if you don't know what Denza is, it is a BYD sub-brand. Essentially, it is a more luxurious brand of BYD, which is one of the largest manufacturers of cars now in the world. Let's talk about the design. I really like these lights here, especially the daytime running lights, just very cool. I also like that it's not over-styled, you know. The GWM Tank 500, it's a bit uggo with its giant chrome grille, but this is like subdued and understated. I like it. Even small by today's standard. By the way, that is the Denza logo. And yes, this thing does have radar. It's got cameras up there, and it's gonna come with level 2 autonomous driving. Check this out as well. You can actually see it better from this angle. You can see just how steeply raked that front bumper is, because this thing has some really good like approach, ramp, breakover, and departure angles, as you'll see. But don't worry, you still get a steel bash plate, which, well, probably shouldn't have done that. Anyway, you do still get that, so don't worry. But yeah, quite understated. I do like it in this almost like baby blue. Let me know what you guys think of the color in the comment section below. Check these out. These are absolutely massive wheels. They're 20-inch alloy wheels, and they are wrapped in some Pirelli Scorpion tires. I'm not entirely familiar with these tires, but they don't have the most amount of tread. Definitely not aggressive, so you definitely want to be putting on some like Bridgestone Jeweler All-Terrain 2 tires or something, just to make that a bit better. You have double wishbone suspension up front, and we'll come back to it, but this thing has hydraulic suspension. It can raise itself up or down, up by 90 millimeters, down by 40 millimeters. So yeah, you get some really good ground clearance on this thing too, like almost 300 millimeters, if not more. Kind of like this motif here. Got a 360 camera, a very good 360 camera, very squared off, boxy design. Now, this one doesn't have side steps. They will be coming as standard, just regular side steps, not these really cool ones that kind of pop out. Much like a GWM Tank 500, but keyless entry and go. You've also got this very tinted privacy glass as well, and an extremely boxy design. Like, check that out. I think it's a really, really good looking thing. And then there is the back. Now, we'll come back to this platform when we talk about the engine, but DMO, that is dual mode off-road with DSUS-P. Essentially, this thing has hydraulic suspension. With the dual mode off-road platform, that means we have a front electric motor, a rear electric motor, and an engine. No mechanical linkage between, but these are way better than what you'll find in a BYD Shark 6, which is the same platform underneath the skin. This is just a more hardcore off-roady version. We've also got this cover on the back here for the Leopard version of the B5, which is good. You've got a full-size spare. You've also got rated recovery hooks. In terms of towing, this thing can tow 3 tons, which is good. A lot of people were worried about the payload of this thing because, like I said, it weighs 3 tons, like 3,000 kilograms. I love how you have dual recovery points actually at the back. That's very good. But as standard, it actually comes with the towing kit assembly. You've got a 12-pin socket there. It even comes with the tow ball. It's been taken off here because we're doing off-roading, but it comes with the whole setup. Usually you have to pay like $2 grand or something for that in a lot of other vehicles. And also the fact that it doesn't come with a 7-pin connector, but a 12-pin connector, that means that you can do things like power your fridge in your caravan while you're driving. So fantastic to see. This thing can actually be a pretty good towing vehicle. So if you go for the regular B5, you get 600 kilograms of payload, which is plenty for that thing. If you go for this B5 Leopard, then you get 490 kilograms. So still pretty good. Not the best, but still pretty good. They have said that they have made changes versus the Chinese market. In China, this thing can only tow at 2.5 tons, but they also say that this thing can safely tow at 3 tons pounds with only 5% of weight on the tow ball. I don't know if I'd be testing that out, but hey, that's what they said. Let's open the back up and see how much space we get. It is quite impressive. So this is 470 liters of boot space, and it actually feels like quite enough. If you drop the second row, you get 1,064 liters. It's not the most, but it's certainly better than what you'll find in the GWM Tank 500, which has a really compromised boot space. But wait until you check out the interior. Let's talk about that. Okay, so what about the interior of the B5? What is that like? Unbelievable, like honestly unbelievable. So first of all, check out these seats. This is technically the Leopard, so yeah, top of the range, but you get these Napa leather seats and they feel absolutely fantastic. They look great too. And then there's the rest of the design, which is just good. So this steering wheel here, it's a nice faux leather, but it feels good to hold in the hands. You can change your drive modes here or your off-road modes here, which is actually good. It's within reach, although if you're grabbing onto your steering wheel like that, it'd be a bit faffy, but anyway, it's good to have. You have buttons here to control your adaptive cruise control and things. On the right-hand side is your media controls. Up in front of you is this really good digital instrument display. So when you change between your different drive modes, you get these cool differences in animation and an annoying whoosh sound. Shut up. But anyway, that's cool. And then of course, if you change between your drive modes, it does the same thing. Now we're in sport mode, baby. But yeah, a really, really good design. And this infotainment display is seriously one of the best. It is so snappy. Like, look at how responsive that is. If we put this thing into reverse, you could check out the 360 camera. Again, just a really, really good reverse camera. And check out how snappy that is. Guys, for 70 to 90 grand, like honestly, it's unbelievable. How the hell do they do this? Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You have dual fast wireless chargers with an air conditioning vent to keep your phone cool while you're charging it. Got a couple of aircon vents there, by the way. Check out the build. So this is really solid. This is all nice and soft touch as well. So it feels super duper premium. You got a little storage area there. And it's the funniest thing, these grab handles. They've actually got a cut out here in the doors for you to be able to grab on, although I don't know why you'd be grabbing onto that. Now this is one annoying bastard. This guy looks directly into your eyes, and what it will do is scream at you all the time. So that is a very, very annoying system. I've also just spotted this, a camera. You've got a camera, reverse camera. Crazy. Check this out though. If we turn off the car, you'll see what happens. It retracts, it turtles. Then if we press start again, obviously it pops up. Maybe a bit of over-engineering. I'd be worried about the longevity of that, but still cool. Check out these dials here, by the way. They're like a crystal. Your start-stop button, obviously. This is where you change between hybrid and fully electric mode. You can turn on your low-range gearing here, your drive mode, so that's kind of just a double up of that. But anyway, and of course, your hazards. Makes a funny sound. It even does it here on the infotainment display. So storage, well, you've got a pretty large glove box there. You've got this storage area here with a USB-C port, USB-A port, and a 12-volt socket. But a nice little storage area there. This is nice and soft. Open that up. You get a fridge. You get a fridge that can go between -6 degrees all the way up to 50 degrees. So you can use it as a pie warmer, you can use it as a fridge. You can literally put ice creams in there and keep them frozen. You have a couple of cup holders here with a cool system where you can push it down and press this button here, and it comes back up. Not to mention, up in front of you, you get a giant heads-up display, hard to see on this camera here, and a massive panoramic sunroof as well as a 16-speaker DVLA, whatever it is, it's beautiful. It's a sound system that just sounds epic. So I can't believe how much they've pumped into here. We don't know the prices, but I guarantee you we're gonna be shocked. They keep telling me we're gonna be shocked by the price. And if it's anything like a BYD Shark 6, that's sub 60K drive away, I think we're all gonna be really, really impressed. I think they've nailed it. They've absolutely nailed it. I don't know if there's anything I would change, except for that stupid eye monitor. Let's check out the back seats. Coming into the back seats now, what's it like? Well, I'm 5'11", and even though this is a body-on-frame vehicle, I'm actually quite comfortable. So this is my seating position, heaps of legroom, heaps of headroom as well, and toe room too is pretty good. That is actually pretty good. Got map pockets here, got a couple of very small air vents, like these are weirdly small. You have a screen here where you can turn on your heated and cooled outboard rear seats, which is crazy. Air conditioning controls, of course, single zone, which does kind of suck. Open this up, you get a USB-A port, USB-C port there as well. Check out these seats. So again, Napa leather, they feel absolutely incredible, like really, really nice seats. You've also got this fold down center armrest. That's also nice and soft. Open that up, you have this felt line storage area here. You've also got a couple of cup holders, which is really good to see. But thankfully, you do get these up here in the roof. You get some more air vents, so you're not just relegated to the world's smallest, literally it's smaller than my finger, world's smallest air vents. Look at the quality as well, just nice and soft, absolutely everywhere, and a little bit of storage down there, but not the best. By the way, yes, you can recline the seats just a little bit if you want to, but typically in a body on frame vehicle, my legs are at a terrible angle, but as you can see, they're just not. So I'm super duper impressed, guys. The interior of this thing, the exterior of this thing, and as you'll find out soon, the off-road capability of this thing are phenomenal, especially if it's coming in at like 70K. But of course, you should pay the best price no matter what. That's why we started CarSauce Buy. It's our car buying service. Scan the QR code on your screen now, or just Google CarSauce Buy. We have a dedicated team of car buyers who go out there and negotiate on your behalf to get you the best price possible. Thousands of you have used that service, so thank you very much. And it's completely obligation free. Until you want to purchase that car, you don't have to go through anything. So if that sounds good to you, join our thousands of happy customers at CarSauce Buy. Just scan the QR code on your screen now, or Google us like I said. Okay, let's talk about the engine and powertrain, because prepare to have your mind blown. I don't normally get excited by SUVs, but this thing is absolutely insane. So what you are looking at is a 1.5 litre turbo petrol engine, but also it has two electric motors. You have one at the front and one at the rear. Combined, the total system output is 425 kilowatts, 760 Newton meters of torque. They claim a 0 to 100 of 4.8 seconds. Now, of course, it is a plug-in hybrid, so it comes with a big 31.8 kilowatt hour LFP BYD blade battery that can actually charge at 100 kilowatts, or AC charging is 11 kilowatts, so still very, very fast. Now, the electric only range on this thing is not the best. It's only 90 kilometers, and that is on a very non-strict WLTC, so expect closer to like 70 kilometers of range on this thing. But the fuel tank is massive, 83 liters, so this thing can go over 1,000 kilometers on a single fuel and single recharge. And when you do run out of battery, inevitably everyone does, you'll have a fuel economy of 9.8 liters per 100 kilometers. So okay, but definitely not the best. But let's talk about the DMO or dual mode off-road platform and see just how good this thing is off-road. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna off-road in the DSUS P. That's right, we're gonna use the hydraulic air suspension to see how it goes off-road, but then we are going to test it with just the regular coil springs, because I'm really curious to see if it's any worse, and technically it should be. So it's really cool. We have this graphic up on the screen now where I can see a bunch of different things. In fact, let me take you over there. So you can see here, obviously this is the car. We're in normal mode right now. We're gonna raise it up a little bit right now just to kind of get it up. You can see that it's raising up there. Let's change the drive mode as well to Rage is the name for the moment. This is the most hardcore of the off-roading modes. I can feel the whole car lifting up as I do this. So we can do climbing or tugging. Oh no, I wouldn't ever do that in a four-wheel drive. But this is a really cool screen, and even though we're not on very good tires, this will be a really good test to see how this thing performs off-road. So we finally learned more information. Unlike the last review I did of this in China where we had zero information, we actually have a lot now. So this thing does have a front and rear locking differential. It's different to a GWM Tank 500, which doesn't have that because it's got a single electric motor sandwiched between the engine and the transmission and a physical drive line. So this doesn't get a locking center diff. It has a simulated locking center diff, but it does have a low range transfer case, actually 2-speed in the rear electric motor. So front, rear locking differentials, which is just crazy. Let's see how it goes over some pretty gnarly mud and ruts that I actually did just last week in the Tank 500. So I know it very well. This is the DMO platform, dual mode off-road platform. And that does mean that we get the 2 electric motors, and it's right now the most hardcore version. So we're cocking a wheel. Let's see how it goes. You know what? It's doing a great job. And considering the fact that the air suspension has raised up, it's kind of allowed us to go through this in a controlled way. It's so interesting though, with the instant torque, it feels very good. In some ways, it kind of feels better than the Tank 500 that we did it with last week. And it's doing it fine. It especially helps with the fact that it has been raised up. It's doing it phenomenally well. And there is a lot of wheel articulation too. They didn't want me to do that, but I had to test it out. I had to test it out to see how it compared to the Tank 500, and frankly, it did the job really, really well. So we actually only have the rear diff locked for that. So it would have been even better had we used the front diff, but we really didn't need to. So now we're in rock mode. We're gonna turn off the locking rear differential. I've got to say, I'm actually impressed. I really did not expect it to go up there so well, but it did it easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But it does help that it's actually been raised up with that suspension. Obviously that makes a rather big difference too. So yeah, the hydraulic suspension gives it 140 millimeters of both up and down. It can go 90 millimeters up or 50 millimeters down. You have to manually drop it if you're on the highway, which is a bit strange, but anyway, you don't really need to. That kind of gives it better aerodynamics, but the fact that you can get like 300 millimeters of ground clearance in this thing is pretty wild. And also, once you raise it up, that gives it a 39-degree approach angle. It's 35 degrees in the regular one. Also a 27-degree ramp brake over angle. It's 20 degrees in the regular one, and a 35-degree departure angle. So those are all class leading. So now we're gonna wade through some water. I really hope we don't get bogged here, because that would suck, wouldn't it? So this is about 400 millimeters, but actually because we are sitting quite high because of the raised ride height, this is going through it way easier than even the Tank 500 PHEV, which obviously doesn't have the benefit of this hydraulic lifting suspension. I can feel though the electronics kind of coming in and cutting power, kind of like a BYD Shark 6. But unlike a BYD Shark 6, this has a proper off-road system. That's all-wheel drive. It's not four-wheel drive. This is four-wheel drive. Now, if we go up this hill in regular mode, we are just going to spin the wheels. So instead, in fact, I'm going to show what that looks like. Let's put it into mountain mode and see how it goes up. We're not going to lock the front or rear diffs, but I have a strong suspicion it's going to spin wheels like we did in the Tank 500. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. Let's go back and let's show the difference, because the Shark 6 won't go up this hill, but it would if it had locking diffs. And like I said, this has a locking front and rear locking differential. So let's lock the rear, lock the front, do the same thing. It should go up here just fine. Look at the difference. This is the thing, it needs to have mechanical bits if it's gonna be a proper off-roader. You can only fake so much. Oh, this is a steep decline. You can only fake so much with electronics, and this is doing a phenomenal job. So yeah, versus a BYD Shark 6, this is way better off-road. And versus a Tank 500, I'd say it's pretty similar. In fact, in some cases, like that kind of rock climb we did earlier, because we can raise up the suspension, it actually does a better job. Let's see what the regular one is like without DSUS-P. All right, now we're going to do this off-roading part, particularly the part that will test out the wheel articulation and the ground clearance, because that's the biggest difference between this and the DSUS-P suspension, because like I said, it's just coil sprung. So 220 millimeters of ground clearance for both of these cars, but that one you can raise up to 310 millimeters. This one, you know, it stays at 220. So let's see how it goes. We don't really need to do this, but we're gonna put this thing into mountain mode, lock the rear diff, lock the front diff, and put it in full low as well. I reckon it'll go through here swimmingly. Let's test it out. Now, like I said, I did this in the Tank 500, and that has the same 220 millimeters or so of ground clearance. So if that can do it, this should be able to do it. The electric motor there was a bit, it was a bit, hey, let's keep going. But I will say we haven't bottomed out. I am noticing though, by far, that this thing definitely has a lot less ground clearance. We bottomed out there just a little bit. So I think the moral of this story is, if you are actually going off-road, then to be honest, that DSUS-P suspension is probably gonna be a lot better. Ooh, just bottomed out there too. Owie, owie, owie. Still, you know, that's the same performance as what you'd find in most other competitors, but considering that you can get this thing with the air suspension, if you're an off-roader, I think it might be for the best. All right. Let's launch it, see just how fast it is. All right, well, we're gonna be slightly handicapped by the fact that this is open, but still, with the amount of brute power this has, we should still be okay. Let's try it. Oh, this thing is quick. But is it that quick? All right, 100. Well, that's quite far off the claim. 0 to 100 in 6 seconds. Let's try that one more time. Alrighty, let's try it in race mode. Surely that will be better. Here we go. Oh, I can feel it's giving everything it's got. That does feel better. Oh, okay, that is way, way better. 0 to 100 in 5.45 seconds. That's good. Let's drive this thing normally. Alrighty, driving the Denza B5, specifically with the DSUS-P hydraulic suspension. Now, it has 2 settings, which is okay. It's got a comfort and a sport. Right now we're in comfort and we're on some bad gravel roads. This is the thing, right, about a car. You can make a car suspension incredible, but it has to be mega incredible to be able to handle something that weighs 3 tons. This is not a light vehicle at all. And you can immediately tell it is heavy, like hitting this bump, Yeah, this has some serious weight to it. Now here at Lang Lang, it is the best way to be able to simulate what it's like driving on Australian roads. These are pre-production technically, but it's pretty much final spec. So what we're gonna do is see how it drives. Foot down, in normal mode. Quick. This thing is quick. Oh, but you can tell, even with this hydraulic suspension, it has a lot of body roll. So compared, first of all, to a GWM Tank 500, and we really need to do a proper back-to-back comparison. You can see how much I'm leaning, by the way. Compared to a Tank 500, this thing, it has a less pitter-pattery ride. What do I mean by that? It just feels a lot more planted. It definitely feels its weight. Honestly, it feels heavier than a Tank 500, but also there's something quite good about it. It's firm, but not horrific. Even at highway speeds, cornering like we are, it's still managing to ride pretty well. And if we change over into sport mode, put our foot down, whoa, the electric motor pickup is pretty much instantaneous. This little 1.5 litre turbocharged engine is also rattling away, but it's handling really well. Like, actually, way better than I expected. If you go for the coil springs, it is more comfortable overall. However, you're not going to get the same kind of cornering ability that you will with this suspension setup. And as you saw for the off-road part, it honestly just makes that much of a difference that I would kind of always recommend it. How does it go over these really bad undulations though? Let's find out. Get up to 130. So the rebound control on this thing is fantastic. Wow, it didn't leave the ground. It just did it in a really controlled and good manner. So yeah, first impressions are, it actually rides pretty well, way better than a Tank 500, and also more composed than a Toyota LandCruiser Prado, although the Prado is probably even more comfortable with its softer suspension tune. Color me impressed? All right, let's get to our final thoughts. Now, we're gonna have to wait for the full pricing and specs to come out. However, this one here, which is an Australian spec, I have to say, the Denza B5 is insane. What it comes with, the luxury, the power, and the fact that it is from BYD's Denza brand, I think this is gonna be an absolute winner. This is a bit of an RIP Tank 500. Like, that thing doesn't have any competition. The Toyota LandCruiser Prado is so much more than both of those cars. Yet here we have something that is extremely capable off-road, really quite luxurious, very good looking, and although we don't know what it's going to cost, it probably won't cost as much as you think. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Of course, if you want to buy any new car, you want the best price possible, scan the QR code on your screen now, or just Google CarSauce Buy. My dedicated team of car buyers will help you out, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Until the next one. Ciao for now.